Hi everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, Enhancing Online Education with Möbius 2018. And basically what I first want to do with this webinar is just give you a quick overview of some of the changes to our product offering with digital ed as we move from MapleSoft to digital ed. So first thing to talk about is just we do have new branding for the products. They do remain the same. Functionality is the same, but some of the logos, as you see here, have changed. So first to talk about is Möbius. Möbius from MapleSoft has now been rebranded as Möbius Courseware at Digital Ed. Maple TA has been rebranded as Möbius Assessment. And our Maple TA MAA Placement Test Suite is now referred to as Möbius MAA Placement at Digital Ed. So in saying that, a little quick blurb about our platform and what each product of the platform represents. So courseware is a platform for creating, deploying, and managing online STEM courseware that focuses on continuous assessment throughout the learning process. This is like the all-in-one product. It contains features for lessons, inline assessment questions, interactive applications, as well as assessment features as well built into the product. So what is Möbius Assessment then? Well, Möbius Assessment is an online testing and assessment system designed especially for STEM courses. So this is strictly just online testing and assessment. So if you were to compare courseware to assessment, courseware has all the features of the Möbius platform inside of it, whereas Möbius only has the testing and assessment features. So it's missing the lessons and slideshow features that courseware offers. And the Möbius MAA placement is our placement testing solution. This allows you to place your incoming students in the right math courses quickly and painlessly using the renowned MAA placement test. So in saying that, the MAA has continuously had a partnership with us for the last 15 years, and their content is inside of our platform for placement purposes. Now, today's webinar is talking about what's new inside of Möbius 2018. Now when I say what's inside Möbius 2018, I'm talking about the platform itself. I'm not focusing on a single product here, but rather the entire platform, because what is new inside of Möbius 2018 actually applies to all of our products underneath that umbrella. So first I want to talk about the first big feature that we have to announce with Möbius 2018 is analytics. So we have introduced analytics as part of the platform, specifically a data stream and dashboards. So the analytics data stream is something that captures events from the Möbius platform. We're talking very intricate and detailed events, such as when a user logs into the platform, when they start taking a lesson or an assignment, how long they spend on each piece of content, time on task, for example, as well as how many attempts they do per question, what their responses were, how they navigate through a lesson or an assignment, as well as if they have slideshows within their lessons, how they navigate with that scrub bar, like the video. Do they watch the whole thing from start to finish? Do they skip ahead? Do they pause? Do they scrub forward or backward at any point? All of that is recorded in what's called a data stream. So if you would, it's an event log. It logs exactly what a user is doing inside of Möbius from login to log out. Now, that information then we do collect then and present to you through Data Studio dashboards provided by Google. These are visual infographics that tell you, a teacher or administrator, how students are using your content. Now, to show an example, I'm going to move to Data Studio provided by Google to show you a template dashboard I have mocked up that shows you how some of the content can actually provide analytics to a user at the endpoint. So here we have a dashboard from Google. As you can see, it has lots of graphics and designs, and it gives you information about how long students are having an average session inside the product, how many they've been so far, how many active are right now, things of that nature. And what happens is, this is the overview page of my dashboard. You can see that there are 5 other pages below regarding more details about assignments and lessons and slideshows and what's actually inside of those pieces of content. So This is all really good information to have. It tells you when users are most active, what days, how many users, and then below that we see where students are spending the most time in. So will it be lessons, other, or assignments, and so forth. Now going to the assignments page, you can see here that it actually tells you how much time is spent on each assignment page. You can see here it has information below. It tells you things like attempts, average time per attempt, and so forth. You can even scroll up and see more information about the most popular ones, the average grades, how many users attempted which one, and I can go forward then and see more information about lessons as well. Similar to what you saw before, except it's more geared toward lessons inside the platform. So which lessons the user is spending the most time on, which ones have the most slideshows, which ones have users seen, and then the slideshows tab here. So if you do have slideshows within your lessons and you want to get some type of information about them, that will be shown here. Now I personally don't have any on my server, but that's where you would see it. And then inline questions shows you which of the inline questions are most popular. And then of course assignment questions shows you information about questions within an assignment. Various data, what you see is on the screen right here in terms of number of attempts per question, marked correct, incorrect, and then we have other things here about time spent on task, interactions, and performance. So what we've done for you is we've created these Data Studio dashboards for you that you can use if you choose to upgrade to version 2018. And when you do so, we'll contact you, we'll give you permissions and everything set up. You can have these dashboards at your fingertips whenever you want. Now, of course, you do have edit capability as well if you want to modify what's in the dashboard and what you want to see. Of course, that does require some knowledge of how to understand metrics and analytics and data, but it is there if you want, or like I mentioned, we will simply just give you 6 template dashboards that you can use yourself to kind of get a better idea of what users are doing with your content inside of the Möbius platform. Now, in saying that though, if you do have some type of other external analytics tool or engine that receives data and presents to you data in a certain way, we can also work with you to get those data streams I talked about before pushed to your own personal solution that your school likes to use instead of Data Studio. Now, if that is the case, then you can easily talk with us at Digital Ed to get that going. But by default, we'll simply give you access to a Data Studio dashboard from Google that has your information. But we can do other customizations as well. But that is our analytics, data stream, and dashboards feature in Möbius 2018. Going forward, we also put a lot of effort into an all-new MapleNet for computation and math apps, as well as cloud deployment infrastructure. So talking about that first point there, all-new MapleNet. So there's a version 2018 of MapleNet now inside of Möbius that drives the computation by default and math apps. So you might be wondering, how is this different from Möbius or MapleTA 2017 and older? Previously, computation was done with a local kernel or engine of Maple, if you would. And that was restricted to your server. But now, with MapleNet 2018 driving the computation by default, you have the full power of a MapleNet on a server architecture or cloud deployment for the computation. So basically what that means is more things can be done in parallel and be done quicker. Now, what does the MapleNet do for math apps specifically? Well, to show you, there's one big new feature in terms of math apps that is very easy to show you in my screen. So here I have Möbius courseware. Let me zoom in a little bit. 2018. I'm going to open up this application on math apps. It has 3 different math apps, and what's great here is that math apps, of course, as you saw, now load very quickly, but also math apps are responsive in your browser. So what I mean is, as you saw there, if I reduce the size of things, the math app itself will scale accordingly. So without showing you in too much detail, this is why our apps work on mobile devices or tablets, because they scale accordingly. But also, as I move the sliders, notice that I get continuous updates of the math apps. Previously, you had to actually let go of your mouse to see an update. But now you can see when I move the slider here, notice that the plot actually is changing as I move the slider. And this is true with whether you're using interactive plots, sliders, buttons, dials. As you move things, you actually see updates on the screen automatically. But that's what the new MapleNet does in terms of math apps. Now, talking about the cloud deployment infrastructure, because this does go into a little bit with the next point a little bit. We have decided to utilize the Google Cloud Platform for server hosting now for the Möbius platform. This is the first time we're doing this for Möbius. Version 2018 is the first one to be fully hosted on GCP platform. Previously, we used third-party hosting solutions in different territories, and these were generally smaller scale operations that gave us physical hardware at their location that we then used to host Möbius and MapleT in our placement test suite. But going forward, all instances and renewals will be moved to the GCP environment. Google Cloud Platform is a world-renowned hosting provider that has a lot of security and backups and encryption and just a whole lot of other features that make it easier and better for us to deploy on the cloud instance. So why do we choose to do this? Well, first, it gave us a few different things. The first is obviously a more faster and quicker environment for hosting. Secondly, it also allows us to have GCP hosting centers across the globe. They have in various countries that enable us to be more, have a higher profile in different territories. So for example, if you do some research online, you can easily find out that GCP has hosting centers in Canada, and in Europe, in the US, in different parts of Asia and Australia, and it allows us to better put servers near our customers. And also, though, it just gives us easier options for scaling up and down servers for more usage. So prior, as you can imagine, when you're on a physical hardware environment, you are restricted to what that physical hardware can manage in terms of a load and number of users, whereas with our GCP environment, we have more flexibility and more expansion capabilities with their environment. Now also, mainly for our European customers, but we do now with many other softwares in the world do support and are compliant with GDPR. So we do require new users in Europe to explicitly consent to using the software. If they choose to ignore that consent or decline, they will not be allowed to use our platform. This is a requirement by law in Europe, and it's something that we have implemented as well, as many other software companies has. And as I mentioned previously, just a few moments ago, because we now support GCP, the Google Cloud Platform, we can have more improved regional deployment, specifically directly in Europe, as data now has to be stored in a European center, which we now comply by as well. And of course, though, in saying these things, in terms of moving to GCP for hosting and now being compliant with GDPR, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of other improvements and fixes we put into the platform from a database perspective, from a hosting perspective, from an actual back-end platform perspective. We can't go into detail to that today. It would be way too technical for today's webinar, but there was a lot of work put into the architecture, if you would, of the Möbius platform to be compliant with GDPR and to be able to be hosted on the GCP environment. So needless to say, we were very busy the last several months, if not year, preparing this release due to the sheer amount of work that had to go into making our platform GCP compatible, but also to make it compliant with GDPR. So that's our Möbius 2018.0 release that came out just a few weeks ago. It's definitely a very exciting release. And talking a little bit more about what we're doing, not necessarily from a product perspective, but from a customer perspective, I just want to talk about how we want to engage with our users going forward now that we switched from MapleSoft to Digital Ed. So the first thing that we're wanting to do to engage more with our users is a new service called Möbius Ideas, coming, I believe, next week in the middle of July. This is an online repository that allows users to submit ideas for the Möbius platform. They can provide their feature requests, their requests for enhancement in this one area, and then they can actually search and find everybody else's ideas that they've submitted to change the platform or to improve it. And users can collectively talk to each other, they can vote on each other's ideas, They can collaborate on ideas and provide their own ideas of what a feature could be or how it could be improved. And then what happens is, as these ideas come through this portal environment, this area where users submit them, the product team at Digital Ed has the ability then to see them in a better tool to filter them, to comment back to the user community, to add notes, to provide users with an idea of when they can expect to see these ideas put into the product and when they'll be shipped out. To show you how this website will work, the URL is ideas.digitaled.com, as you see in my URL here. It is live right now, so if you're watching this webinar and want to actually view the website, feel free to. We will officially be publishing this URL on our website in the next week or two, but you can go today if you like. It's ideas.digitaled.com. But as you can see here, when you go here, you'll see ideas for how to change the product, how to make it better. You can see that they're listed here. I can click on one. I can see the explanation, who submitted it, when they submitted it. I can then add comments and see that people have voted on it 3 times. And this gives me a good idea of how to, as a user, know what other people are wanting in the product. But also, it gives us at Digital Ed a way bigger window into what our user base is actually wanting in the product going forward in the future. So there are only a handful of ideas right now. We did a very soft launch with only half a dozen schools back in June, and they did put their ideas in. But as we broaden this and expand our invitation in the next few weeks, we hope to see dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of ideas coming in for the rest of 2018, and that allows us, the product team, to really know what our community is looking for in terms of feature requests and improvements. And one other thing we hope to be doing with our user community in later this year in 2018 is the Möbius Advisory Group. Some of you may be aware that we did have at one point a Maple TA advisory group about 5 or 6 years ago that primarily met online to discuss the product, to talk about how we use the product, and to talk about what's coming into the product next. Now, over the course of several years and through different reasoning, that group was dissolved, and we now hope to launch a new and improved advisory group for the Möbius Platform in a few months. Now, what this will allow, different than previously, we're actually opening this up to any school to apply on our website. They have the option then to go to digitaled.com. They can apply to join the group. This group will have an exclusive website where you log into to access resources available just to the members. You can access beta environments to try, for lack of better words, upcoming releases of the Möbius Platform or bleeding edge releases. Members of the advisory group will also have the opportunity to voice their opinions and views about upcoming feature sets. We hope to actually use this advisory group as an opportunity for us and the product team to understand how you want new features to look and how you want them to in more detail, behave for you in the future. Now, ideally, we will have all the communication done through MöbiusCommunity.com, our community forum online, where you'll have an exclusive sub-forum just for the advisory group members. So this will be coming in the next few months. If I had to guess right now, we are targeting shortly after back to school. So end of September, sometime in October, but we'll be sure to keep everyone updated as we continue to work on launching this group later in the fall of 2018. So those are the 2 new customer-facing initiatives that we're starting with Digital Ed this year that we want to launch. But that does conclude our webinar today. I hope you enjoyed learning about what's new in the Möbius platform with version 2018.